Hello and welcome to Breezy Chatter. Today I'm going to be talking about the bold and the beautiful, but first and foremost, thank you to those who have subscribed to my channel. Your subscription is highly appreciated, and let's get started. So we've got Deacon. He's up in arms. He's losing his mind. He cannot believe that there is a possibility that Sheila is still alive. And he's telling anyone who will listen that the person being cremated had 10 toes. And Deacon is explaining to anyone who will listen that Sheila has 9 toes. So there's no way that the person that was cremated is actually Sheila. Now, Deacon has shared his ideas with Finn. It's gotten to Steffi. Deacon has even shared his thoughts with Ridge, and no one wants to believe him. Everyone thinks Deacon has lost his mind, but I think they've all lost their minds because given their history with Sheila, they should know that the same way Sheila has those 9 toes, she has 9 lives. This woman always comes back. And I would think that Steffi and Ridge would be more on guard. I don't expect it from Finn because I don't think Finn believes that Sheila has done half of the things that people have told him she's done. He doesn't know Sheila the way the Forresters do, the way Lauren Fenmore knows Sheila. And I would think that they would be more cautious and maybe want to help Deacon dive a little deeper into his theory and find out if Sheila is in fact lurking. We also have Luna having a really hard time explaining to RJ what happened that night of Eric and Donna's wedding. She's explaining to him right now that she had those mints and they turn out to be some sort of medication that her mom was taking, and that's why she was feeling out of sorts. And RJ, he's listening, he's being very attentive, he's telling her, yes, he remembers. She took a lot of those mints, and he's so sorry that it turned out to be her mom's meds. But now she's getting to the hard part where she has to tell him that she found herself in Zende's bed, and one thing led to another, and that although she was making love to Zende, she actually thought it was him. And in the previews, we get to see RJ punching Zende in the face, which I knew was going to happen. Zende has been quite clear about his feelings for Luna, especially where RJ's concerned. And RJ's not going to believe for a second that Zende did not just take advantage of Luna. But it was really a big mistake. So now that we're going to have Zende and RJ at each other's throats, what does that mean for Hope for the future? Who is going to be the designer for Hope's line? Because I don't see Zende and RJ working together. It's going to be quite interesting to see what happens there. We also have Ivy coming back, and I can't help but wonder what role she's going to play. Some say she's going to return with Thomas, but I can't help but think she's coming back to claim Liam. She's always wanted him. She's had affairs with Wyatt. She had a little something with Thomas, but I think that she's always wanted Liam, and Liam is available. So I think she's back for him. But it's going to be interesting to see how things unfold and what kind of triangulations are going to be at play. Are we going to have Hope and Ivy fighting over Liam? Are we going to have Steffi and Ivy fighting over Liam? What I also enjoyed watching was Liam confess that he's not been the best man towards any of the women in his life, especially Steffi, and he also said that he wouldn't want his 2 daughters to be with any man that was like him. And he's doing soul searching. He's thinking about himself. He's trying to be a better man and a better dad to his daughters. So that's so refreshing to hear. He knows that he needs to be doing more, and it's good to see that he acknowledges that, and he's going to work towards being a better dad and hopefully being a better man in his next relationship. But I can't help but wonder who it's going to be. Is Liam going to be with Steffi, Hope, Ivy, or is he just going to choose to be alone? It's going to be quite interesting to see what's in store for Liam, because things are going to get quite interesting once Ivy returns. And let's not forget, Ivy is no friend of Steffi's. They don't get along. And I can't help but wonder if Ivy and Hope will team up on Steffi. Or will Ivy team up with Sheila against Steffi? Because Ivy really doesn't like Steffi. And it just seems like Steffi can't get a break. Sheila's out of the picture, although I don't think she really is. But now we have Ivy, another thorn in her side, someone else that really doesn't look out for her best interest and was somewhat jealous of her and her relationship with Liam. So it's going to be quite interesting to see if Steffi and Ivy are able to get along after all the time that's passed. We also find out that Hope is going to confide in Liam about why she just could not marry Thomas. And I think Hope sort of let it slip that she hasn't forgotten everything that Thomas has done to her. She did tell Steffi that while they were arguing. And I think that's the reason why she can't marry him. I think she does blame him for withholding information about Beth being alive. And although she holds that against him, it didn't stop her from using him. So that just goes to show you how selfish and self-serving Hope is. This is a man that she blames for withholding vital information about her daughter. She blames him for that. But yet and still, she can still use him for the success of her line. She can use him for fun times in bed. And she can use him for the loyalty, the devotion, and the ego stroke. I could be wrong, but I'm looking forward to finding out what Hope tells Liam about why she just could not marry Thomas. I also want to applaud Steffi for convincing Thomas to get the hell out of there and to search for something with more substance, something with more meaning in his life than someone who just wants to use him for all that he has to offer, but doesn't want to give anything in return. I also want to applaud the writers for not turning Thomas into this raving lunatic. Thank you so much for allowing him to just leave with some dignity. He packed up, he left, he didn't go out sad. He didn't wind up in a mental institution. He didn't wind up in jail. And it sort of shuts up the Liams and the Deacons saying that Thomas is so unstable and Hope, you're putting yourself in danger being with him, when in actuality, the person who was being hurt the most was Thomas. So I'm so glad that the writers sort of allowed him to remove himself without any lunacy, any crazy or delusional behaviors. Thank you for that, because we know for most of the stories, Thomas has pretty much been a stand-up guy until they turned him into this raving lunatic. So I'm glad to see Thomas reclaiming his life and actually just moving away, removing himself out of the toxicity and towards something that's better for him and his son. So the weeks to come are going to be so interesting. I just wonder how long before Thomas returns, because we know he is going to return at some point. How long before Sheila resurfaces, because we know that she's still alive. And when does Ivy come into the picture? We'll have to wait and see. And that is my commentary. If you liked it, hit like, subscribe, and leave comments. Thank you for your time. Until next time, ta-ta.